Let's see one of the ways to create, edit, and delete nodes in CYPE Connect. In this case, we will enter it manually using the options available in the table on the left-hand side of the interface. We click on Add to create a node. This opens the Node window where we configure its properties. We start by indicating its reference at the top. Then, under Sections, we add the sections that are part of the node. To add a section, we click on the first button. In the central panel, we type in its reference and select the section material, choosing between steel or timber. If we select steel, the available types are the following: rolled I, simple U, angle, and rectangular hollow section. In this example, we're going to create a rectangular hollow section type column. Then, we click on the button on the right to select the section. We select the SHS series from the section series available and define a 200 by 200 section from those available in the series. We click on Accept. If desired, we can click on the name of the series and the section to consult or modify its geometrical properties, i.e. the section dimensions, thickness, or corner radius. Next, we define the material. Once again, we click on the button on the right to select one of the available materials in the drop-down menu and click on Accept. Similarly, if we now click on the name of the selected material, we can consult and modify its reference, description, and properties, such as the modulus of elasticity, Poisson's ratio, coefficient of thermal expansion, unit weight, yield strength, and fracture limit. On the right-hand side, by adding the values of the yield strength and the fracture limit, we can specify the resistance depending on the thickness. Then, in the Layout section, we define the layout of each section in the node. The rotation angle refers to the axis of the section. Therefore, it indicates that the section is rotated about itself. The X, Y, and Z coordinates are used to position the section with respect to the coordinate system of the connection. To define a section whose axis passes through the centre of the connection and starts from the same point, these values are kept at 0. We are now going to enter the angle about the Z-axis, or vertical axis of the connection, i.e. a plan rotation, and the angle with respect to the XY plane of the connection, which consists of a rotation in the vertical plane containing the section. The latter assumes a value of 90 degrees to consider that the section is vertical. At the bottom, if we select Continuous Section, the section is considered to be continuous in the node. We activate this option. The viewer on the right displays the result of the section definition operations. The selected section is shown in blue. Additionally, the direction of the global axes is shown, with the x-axis in red, the y-axis in green, and the z-axis in blue. For each section, the direction of its local x-axis is also marked in red. To complete the node, we continue to add sections by clicking on the Add button again. The other tools allow us to copy, delete, and move the sections of the node in the list. We add a beam that reaches the column. To do this, we select Rolled I with an IPE 300 section. In this case, we maintain an angle with respect to the XY plane of 0 degrees and keep the continuous section checkbox unchecked. Then, we incorporate 2 rectangular hollow sections from the SHS series with 120 by 120 dimensions. In the first one, we can define a rotation angle of 10 degrees. Also, if we enter a Z coordinate of -75mm, the sections are positioned below the centre of the connection. Then, we enter an angle around the Z-axis of 90 degrees. To define the second one, we can copy the previous one. This time, we will not enter a rotation angle, but instead set an angle about the Z-axis of -90 degrees to place it on the other side of the node. We continue by entering a simple U section with a UPE 180 cross-section. To obtain an inclination of the section, we type in an angle with respect to the XY plane of -45 degrees, maintaining an angle about the Z-axis of 90 degrees and a Z displacement of -75mm. Lastly, we add a timber section to the same connection. In this case, the section is 120 by 200mm. We select sawn C24 timber as the material. We also define the service class. We then select a Z coordinate of 50mm and an angle about the Z-axis of 180 degrees. Finally, after completing the definition of the sections in the node, we click on Accept. The node will be added to the node table on the left-hand side. In the status column, it is indicated whether or not the analysis of the connection should be carried out or if it has already been completed, as well as whether or not it meets all of the checks. Furthermore, a three-dimensional view of the selected node appears in the viewer at the bottom. We can click on the Edit button to consult or modify the properties of the node. This brings us back to the node definition window, where we can enter the desired modifications. We can also edit it by double-clicking on the desired node from the table. The other tools at the top allow us to copy, delete, and move the selected items in the list. Once the nodes have been created, we can continue working by clicking on the Connection button to define and analyse the connections in each one of them.